Hi, everybody. Let's see here. Hope everybody's doing well. I'll wait a second for a few more people to show up. I'm having a good hair day, but even on a good hair day, my hair just does weird things. Oh, well. I was feeling much better about my hair day until I sat down in front of this. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's here. Okay, we've got a few people, 4 people. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how I came to understand who my guides are. I think I have more guides than this, but these are the ones that I know specifically are my guides. And I do believe I have guides as well. Hi, everybody. Hey, guys. Speak 3 names. I got the deck mail that you sent to me. I really like it. This is a really good deck. And Rachel, I believe I got something from you. Let's see. Oh, the Edgar Allan Poe playing cards. Unless it was a different Rachel. I think it's you, though. Yay, catastrophe. I do. I really like it. The messages are really helpful and easy to understand. Hi, David. I think it's the first time you being here. Hi, Miss M. I hope you got my email, Miss M. I'm sorry I was a little confused about things, but hey, everybody. So we've got quite a few people here. I'm lighting some Palo Santo. And then I want to tell the story of how I came to know who my guides were. You did find it on Amazon? Yeah. It's pretty reasonably priced, too, as I recall. It's been a while since I've seen it on Amazon. But I think that, so for anyone who's curious, Catastrophe was asking me about this tapestry. It's the moon card in tarot. You can't see all of it, but yeah, it's very pretty. So we'll have some nice billowing smoke. A little ambiance. Okay. Well, thank you, David. That's very nice. Yeah, this tapestry in the back, she was asking me about that. And I told her that my sister bought it for me, I believe, from Amazon, because my sister gifts things. In any case, I'm pretty sure, well, it is there because Catastrophe found it, so. Oh, it's your birthday. Aw, happy birthday. I feel like there have been so many birthdays lately. See, this is July, Cancer birthdays. I do enjoy the energy of Cancers. Hi, Fatima. Or Fatima. And it might be mispronouncing it. Hi, Cassandra. I say, yes, happy birthday to Catastrophe. We won't ask her how old she is. Not that there's anything wrong with getting older, you know. People get proud of themselves for being young. And I'm like, being young is not, it's not like you achieved anything. It's just that you have yet to achieve that many years. It's a lack of achievement of years is what it is anyway. But I feel like, youthful people, take advantage of your youth, do something with it. You're young, you have less responsibilities, normally speaking. So do what you can with your youth while you have it. You will not have it forever. Aw, thank you, Juster. Hi, Amber. If Cassandra, if there's anyone whose name I haven't mentioned, hello. 40 going on 18. I'm going to be 40 in December. I feel good about it. When I entered my 30s, I was like so over my 20s. I was like, I would like to leave behind what I felt like was the superficiality of the 20s. So likewise, I'm looking forward to the 40s. I feel like maybe life will feel more settled in a certain way. All right. Oh my gosh. Both of us will be 40 in December. Are you a Sagittarius or a Capricorn? I sound much younger than I am. Well, I don't know what that means, but oh, well, it's nice to have you, Amber. Yeah, I'm going to get into my storytelling here in a moment. I've loved my 40s. Hi, Hide Monkey. I've never seen you before here. Ira. Sagittarius. Okay, mine's the 10th, December. Hi, Christine. Oh my gosh, it's nice to have so many first-time people. And we've got 23 people in the room. And to start out with, that's actually pretty good compared to normal. So, okay, you're welcome. And I'm glad to see you here as well, because I was a little worried. Hi, Laura. Hi, Maricela. Oh, yours is the 11th of December. Well, we are almost birth twins. All right, so let me go ahead and get into my story. Someone, and I don't remember if it was one of you who's here now, but a couple of weeks ago, one of you asked me to talk about how to communicate with spirit guides. Did I turn on this lamp? Do I need more light? That looks a little bit better. It's a little bit of a dreary day outside. So someone wanted me to talk about how I communicate with spirit guides. And I could just say, well, this is what I do. There are a couple different ways that it happens. Mostly it's with tarot, but I also just kind of wanted to give you a little bit more of a story as well. So a couple of years ago, in July of 2018, I went through a spiritual psychic awakening when my psychic abilities really opened up in a very profound way, which was the result of me kind of getting to a place in my life where I was just really kind of at the end of my rope. I was very frustrated with myself. I was frustrated at the world. I felt very angry that I felt as humans, we have really missed the mark. We had really missed the mark. I felt like, we really dropped the ball in terms of just finding a way to coexist in harmony with each other and with, Mother Earth herself. I just felt so angry at so much of the injustice and the suffering that I saw happening in the world. And I made these two distinct prayers. Now, I will say that, for at least a decade before this happened, I believed in spirit guides, and I believed that I had spirit guides, but I didn't know who any of my spirit guides were until all of this happened. So I made these two distinct prayers. I remember being in the bathtub and I was weeping and I was saying over and over and over, I was saying, God, take this anger in me and make something good of it. Take this anger in me and make something good of it. And it was just that prayer over and over. And either later or earlier in the evening, I don't know, because it's all kind of a blur now, but I was in the living room, prostrate on the floor, which means on my stomach in prayer, just saying, in a world that is so focused on the ego, show me how I myself can have integrity, because I wasn't even sure if I had integrity anymore. That part of the story is important, the word integrity, in terms of how I came to understand that Anubis, and Anubis is one of the gods of the underworld in Egyptian mythology. This is how I came to understand that he was one of my guides. And I feel like probably my primary guide, not that there's necessarily a hierarchy of guides. I don't really know how it works. But when I say primary guide about Anubis, what I really mean is that I think he's been with me throughout my entire life. And I feel like he needed to be there with me to sort of experience what I have experienced in my life as a whole in order for me to learn this lesson of integrity. So I made those two prayers. God, take this anger in me and make something good of it. And show me how I can have integrity myself in a world that is so focused on the ego. So those were the two prayers that I made in July of 2018. And, up to that point, I thought that I was a very intuitive person. I had used tarot and even read tarot professionally for years. Since 2009, I started my website. But I never really thought of myself as psychic exactly. To me, that meant something more profound than what I experienced, although I had moments of psychic experiences before this. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So in July of 2018, for this 2-week period, like within 12 hours of making these prayers, my whole life started shifting and changing. Different things were brought into my awareness. I started having, it was like a barrage of psychic activity that I was experiencing. And maybe I'll talk about that more in detail. Like there was so much going on. It was like near constant, just psychic activity, all kinds of weird stuff. But one day I was sitting at work. At the time I was working at, I can't think of the word, a psychiatric hospital. And it's kind of good that I was working there because I'd had a lot of in-person experience with patients with severe mental illness, including schizophrenia and various types of psychosis, because I was like having these bizarre experiences. And if I hadn't known what psychosis actually looks like from working with my patients, I would have really been scared that that's what I was experiencing. In fact, there were still moments where I was like, am I sane? Am I having a psychotic experience, or is this real? But anyway, I was at work one day and I had been having all these psychic things happen. And then I have multiple tarot apps on my phone. And I said, what's next? What do I need to know next? So then I was actively seeking information, which, I think all throughout the years, even before I knew who my guides were, I was still communicating with them. I just didn't know who they were. And I would use tarot to ask certain questions, for example, throughout the year. So tarot, in terms of how I communicate with my guides, tarot is probably the number one way. And so anyway, I said, so what's next? And I, pulled a card. It was the Wheel of Fortune card. And I don't know if I can find it, but on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, version of the Wheel of Fortune card, there's this little figure at the bottom of the wheel, and that's what my eye was drawn to. And I knew that whatever was being told to me about what's next, like what do I need to know next, or what, I just didn't know. I was open. I was like, well, this has been a wild, crazy ride. So what's more for me to learn and experience? And I pulled the Wheel of Fortune card. And at the bottom of the wheel, there's a little figure that I had always just thought was like a little demon or something. It looks like a little red demon. Here it is. And I knew that there was something about this figure that was my answer about what's next. And so I Googled Wheel of Fortune symbolism to try to figure out what this was, because I'm like, what does a demon have to do with what's next for me? And this is actually supposed to represent Anubis. This is supposed to be Anubis, one of the Egyptian gods of the underworld. And so then I started researching more about Anubis, and I came upon, I should have thought to look this up beforehand and link to this. I don't even remember the woman's name, but I was researching Anubis, and, I think I already had an inkling that maybe he was a spirit guide or something. But anyway, I came across a woman's blog entry, talked about Anubis coming into her life as a spirit guide to teach her integrity. And that word integrity really stood out for me, because this whole psychic experience that had been set loose was in part because of this prayer I had made about help me to have integrity in a world that is so focused on the ego. So I was like, wow, okay. So this woman is saying that Anubis became her spirit guide to help teach her integrity. That's one of the prayers that I was making. And so it seemed to me that Anubis was trying to let me know that he was also my spirit guide for that reason as well. I emailed the woman and asked her, because I was kind of scared. In her blog entry, she had said, something about, if Anubis chooses to work with you on this lesson of integrity, she said it's something like it's going to be harder than you want it to be or something. I don't know. She made it sound a little bit scary. So I kind of emailed her. I'm like, what do you mean? What exactly has this lesson of integrity been like for you? But I think it's, it isn't actually that scary. It's sort of an ongoing lesson, but I think maybe I'm learning it. I don't know. But like I said, I think integrity is, it's a big lesson. Not one that you just snap your fingers and you've got it figured out, right? So hi, everybody that I haven't said hi to yet. And for Amber, age doesn't matter. I'm not going to be talking about anything that is, not suitable for underage people or anything like that. But anyway, that's how I learned that Anubis was my spirit guide. And so my first few conversations with Anubis were through tarot. And I don't remember actually a lot of those, but I do remember at one point Anubis telling me that Jesus Christ and Mother Mary wanted to speak with me. And specifically, he said that Jesus wanted me to be a part of his agenda, or that's how I interpreted it or heard it. Jesus wanted me to be a part of his agenda. And I was like, agenda? I don't know. That word doesn't sit well with me. Because also before all of this happened, in the year before, I'd been watching David Icke videos, and that led me as well to doing some exploration into like who the Antichrist might be. And so I kind of gone down these very strange esoteric rabbit holes to see what other people had figured out about who might be the Antichrist. And so, I'd gone through all this crazy stuff, psychic stuff that I'd never experienced before. And now I know who one of my spirit guides is, and it's Anubis. And I never, I believe in past lives, and a lot of people who believe in past lives or who are into spirit guides and this sort of thing have a strong affinity for ancient Egypt. I never had that. Not that I had anything against ancient Egypt, but I'd never felt a special connection to it. So it was really surprising to me that Anubis would have been such a prominent spirit guide to me. So it was already kind of weird, the whole thing. And then to be told Jesus wanted me to be a part of his agenda, I was like, what agenda? Is this really Jesus, or is it the Antichrist? I don't think I really, at first I was like, no, I'm not going to talk to Jesus, and eventually I did, though. And I believe my first communication with Jesus also was using tarot. So it was kind of a back and forth conversation. I would ask a question, I would part and get a response, and it really felt like a conversation. And what Jesus said to me in that initial conversation was, the only thing I will ask of you is love. And I thought, okay, if that's your agenda, then I'm okay with that. The only thing I will ask of you is to love. I'm like, I can be down with that agenda. So then I felt much more at ease. So like, if you're not going to ask me to do anything beyond just loving, I'm okay with that. I can't see how that would lead me in any bad direction. Oh, wow, Sydney, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, Jesus is available to be anyone's spirit guide. Because Jesus is so present and such a strong part of this awakening ascension process that we're all going through, because it is about learning to love. So that's beautiful, Sydney. I want to hear more about your experience. I'll try to wrap up my story here. But my second communication with Jesus was a little bit more strange. I was actually watching a meditation video, and I think it's from a channel called Meditative Mind. But they have lots of different meditation videos, but some of them, it's like this circle with these little dots, and the little dots light up at different times, and there's like weird patterns that happen. And I was trying to be meditative, watching the visual to try to get into that meditative zone, and then listening to the music. And then I felt the presence of Christ consciousness. And so there was communication then that happened while I was it was like almost through this meditation video in a strange way. And in that conversation, it was much more like Christ was just giving me certain awarenesses. He was giving me certain insights. So one of the things that he made me aware of, which I was not aware of, is that ascended masters like Jesus, that even when they're, we think of them as being ascended, but he made me to understand that they're still on their own soul's journey of evolution as well. The evolution doesn't stop, which is what I thought. I was like, oh, you've already reached the highest, evolution that you could reach if you become an ascended master. He made me to understand that even he and other highly evolved souls like him are still on their own spiritual journey of evolution. So that's one of the things that he made me aware of. Another one was about my own experience of the fact that I grew up in the church. I lost my religion at 18. I realized that Christianity wasn't something that I believed in. But growing up in that, I always had this idea that when Jesus was resurrected, he just went to heaven and that everything was great for him after that. He's just sitting up on a throne up in heaven in those fluffy clouds and that everything was just hunky-dory. But he gave me this understanding that's not what it's like for him. He still experiences suffering. It's almost as though he is still bearing the cross, but in a more spiritual sense. He was showing me that he's sort of constantly enwrapping the earth in love and sending down love at all times. And in order to do that, he has to overcome his own hurt feelings, because it hurts his feelings when people misuse his ideas, when people, say mean things about him. Like, he understands it. I feel like he understands it and has compassion for that. It's not that he's judging people for hating him, but he feels it. He feels it, and he's constantly having to bear the cross of that while still pouring out this love and concern for humanity. Yeah, it was very mind-blowing for me as well, Sydney. That would never have occurred to me. So that's where I feel like, in a way, these things are hard to confirm, but it's sort of a confirmation to me, because this didn't come from my own conscious understanding. It could have come from some unconscious, thought that I'd had about these things, but it just really felt like an awareness was being given to me. And that's how the communication has taken place. And I've experienced that also with Anubis earlier this year. I experienced a moment of communication. One morning I just woke up. I think it was maybe January. It was still winter, I think. And Anubis had this conversation with me to explain to me a little bit more about why he was my spirit guide and ways in which his experience of being a spirit guide related to my own path, because I do feel that one of the things I'm being taught to do as well is to become a spirit guide. I mean, we can all be spirit guides even in our human fleshy form, but I feel like I'm learning during my earthly incarnation lessons that I can take into the astral realm when I pass over, in terms of how to be a better spirit guide from the astral realms. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But anyway, Anubis was talking to me about his own experience as a spirit guide, and particularly his own anger issues, which I was aware of when I researched him. Apparently, when Anubis appears to you in physical form, he doesn't do it very often, but it's usually very terrifying, and because he's angry at you. As a spirit guide, he's angry, and he will appear in physical form in a way that's terrifying, which when I learned that, I was kind of didn't really like communicating with Anubis too much in the beginning because of that fear I had that, oh my, going to get mad at me, like, but he was just explaining, like, this is part of the reason he's such a prominent guide for me, is because I also get frustrated sometimes. Frustrated is a mild word for it. But anyway, I feel more comfortable with him being my guide now. But anyway, that's how some of the communication happens. Sometimes it's like through tarot, just asking a question, getting a response. When I experienced Mother Mary, it was also when I was watching a meditation video. And this one was the same as that one that I had mentioned with Jesus, but it was like pink, soft pink background. And with Mother Mary, it was not so much a conversation or anything like that. It was more just a feeling of her essence. I just really felt her presence, and it was this very pure motherly energy. And then at the end of that experience, she sort of showed me her sense of humor. So she has a funny sense of humor. And so, when people find Mother Mary's image on like a piece of toast or a potato chip, and part of my experience with her made me feel like that's really her. Like, she just has a funny sense of humor like that. It's one of her ways of demonstrating her motherly love, is through this kind of delightful sense of humor. But most of the time when I'm communicating with my guides, I'm not really aware of it being a specific guide. And I call upon my angels as well. I communicate a lot with Archangel Michael, who I think a lot of people do. And I think, that the angels are kind of available to any of us. Oh, I didn't tell the story of how I learned that Geronimo was one of my guides. That's a good story as well. I feel like I've talked too much at this point, though. I didn't mean to talk. I've talked for almost half an hour. But I will tell that story. So here's the story as well. Well, let me finish up what I was saying. Usually when I'm talking to my guides, it's not like a specific guide. Mother Mary makes dad jokes. She makes mom jokes. Well, I guess that is a dad joke, to show up on a piece of toast. That is kind of a dad joke. Yeah, but she did something funny with my computer at the end of this experience. And at first I was like, whoa, it's a Mother Mary miracle. And then I realized, so I heard this music playing even after the video had stopped. And I was like, whoa, it's a Mother Mary miracle. There's still music playing, but the video has stopped. And then I realized I had another tab open that was playing a different video. But then I was laughing at myself. And then she really did do something freaky. At the top of my computer, it made this weird flashing light thing, which my computer had never done. So it was a Mother Mary miracle, but she was like making fun of me in a sense. But it was so loving. I mean, the majority of the experience with Mother Mary to me was just this beautiful, if you could describe it in a color, it was like a soft pink energy, like that just beautiful, gentle, motherly love. And then with the humor at the end. Okay, well, I'm going to tell the Geronimo story real quick. So when I came to find out Geronimo was my spirit guide, I'd already found out that Anubis, Jesus, and Mary were guides for me. And so one day I woke up, and in my head, this word daguerreotype kept going over and over. Daguerreotype, daguerreotype, daguerreotype. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. And I was like, well, I think that's the word for those like old-timey photos, where the camera person put their head under the cloth and then they pull the thing and it goes and it takes the photo. And it's sort of like this sepia tinted photograph. I was like, I think daguerreotype is the name for the type of photograph. And I was like, let me Google it to find out. And that's what it is. And then this clairsentient knowing that there was a spirit guide that if I searched daguerreotype images, there was a particular image that was going to stand out to me. And that was a spirit guide. And that spirit guide wanted me to know something. So anyway, I'm scrolling through Google images of daguerreotype. I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. I'm like, I'll just know when I see it. So I saw this image of Geronimo. Now, I did not really know that much about Geronimo. So he is an Apache, or he was an Apache leader, kind of a Moses figure to the Apache people. He actually led hundreds of Apaches across the countryside to escape the military. They ended up giving up because it's just exhausting, and there was no further that they could go. But he was very brave. He was very courageous. He believed very much in standing up for his people and protecting his people. Eventually, he was taken into custody, but he always maintained at some level this sort of freedom. Like he still made his own living. He sold autographed photos of himself. And so he still earned his own money even while he was basically in prison. So he tried to maintain as much freedom as possible. I feel like freedom was very important to him. And it was important to him for his own people to have freedom, you know. And, you know, it was very, anyway, so that's who he is. But when I came across this, I didn't really know who Geronimo was. When I was growing up as a kid, what I remembered of the name Geronimo was that if any of the kids were jumping out of a tree, they would yell Geronimo when they jumped. But I didn't really know who Geronimo was. The reason that kids do that is because I think it's something that started in the military. When airmen would jump out of planes, they would yell Geronimo. And it was just basically, you know, bringing to mind his courage, that he was a very courageous person. In fact, he had like a prophecy or a vision given to him that he could go bravely into any battle and that no bullet would ever pierce him. And it was true. He went into many battles and he was never pierced. He was never pierced by a bullet. So, you know, he also was just very kind of surrounded and protected by divine energy, I think. So anyway, I was like, okay, so this is who it is. It's Geronimos. And then I had this clairsentient knowing that he wanted me to tell a friend of mine that he was my friend's guide. And so I did that. And my friend was like, okay, so what's the message? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess maybe you have to figure that out yourself. I think the message for him was probably to take a leap of faith. But anyway, I don't know if he ever figured out the message. It's none of my business. I don't have to do everything for people. But I think Geronimo wanted my friend to know that he was available to be his guide as well. But then even after that, I kept feeling like Geronimo's energy, and I was like, what is it? And then finally I realized he also is my guide and that he wants to be my guide. But he really loves being a leader of many people. You know, in his lifetime, he enjoyed that. And also reality. In reality. Oh my God. In the astral realm, he also really enjoys being a leader of large groups of people. So he wants to be the spirit guide for as many people as want to be led by him. In particular, if you care about confronting oppression or confronting people with power and authority who are abusing that power and authority, and in particular, if you want to stand up for your people who are oppressed, if you are a member of a group of people who are oppressed in some way, and you are also wanting to take leadership or just be involved in fighting against any form of oppression, Geronimo wants to be a guide, you know, because he knows a lot about that. He knows how to be involved in that type of thing. Is that everything that I need to say about Geronimo? Geronimo is a very interesting guide. I have one of my early videos, I did a spirit guide channeling. And the message that I channeled from Geronimo was just very poetic. One of the things that he said to me was, not just to me, you know, just to anyone who came across that video, and I guess now to you guys, I'm saying it to you. He said, in a drought, even the rain is a miracle, which I feel like can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. And as someone who enjoys poetry, I appreciate that. But in a drought, even the rain is a miracle. I don't know. I'll let you interpret it for yourself however you want. It has meant different things to me in different moments, but I think it was very beautiful. So yes, Geronimo is very wise, very brave. If you get the full card a lot, then if you relate to some of the things that I was saying about, you know, what he is available to help lead people with, or guide people on. You know, if you are someone who cares about fighting against oppression, then definitely he could be trying to speak to you through the Fool card. But it doesn't have to just be about oppression. I mean, it also can just be taking a leap of faith in general. You know, his name is invoked when people take a leap of faith, a little jumping out of a tree, jumping out of a plane. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if it makes any more sense or not. Now, the way that I've experienced communication with my guides may not be the way that you will experience it or have experienced it. Everyone's experiences are different. So I would like to hear more about your all's experience. I know Sydney said that you had just had a Jesus experience yesterday. So you can share that. Speak Three Names says, my main spirit guide is Metatron. Metatron is a very interesting one as well. I communicate with him via tarot also. I also have a warrior, an alien soldier, but don't know the name. Was told this is my first incarnation on Earth. Interesting. I wish I could understand things better, but I think the reason why is because my previous lives were on other planets. Yeah, I think that Earth life is definitely more confusing for people who've had a significant number of lifetimes on other planets. Earth is such a beautiful place with so much potential, but we're still trying to figure that out, aren't we? Daylight. Oh, did you pay me just now? Or are you talking about like a video reading? Were you paying for a reading here? If you're paying for a reading here, I don't think I got it. If you're talking about the sale that I was doing and gotten your video reading back to me yet, I just haven't gotten all of those done. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've felt the presence of my mother as well. Yeah, and I would say she is also a spirit guide to me in a sense. She's definitely given me messages. So, Rachel, I went to a spirit guide class, and I believe my mother is one of my spirit guides. Also, I have a very flamboyant spirit guide that did a disco dance for me when I was in meditation. That's funny. My guides insist that they are not my guides, but my friends. Well, that's nice. I mean, yeah, they are our friends. And also, I mean, our guides, I believe, want us to be making our decisions. You know, they're there to help us and support us, but they can't live our lives for us. Just now you tried to. Yeah, I don't think I got it, Daylight. Usually I get an email. Were you sending it through PayPal or through the super chat? Yes. I mean, maybe you sent it. I don't know. I was busy talking, so if it was a super chat, I probably just didn't see it. Gabriel once put it, in a way, you are your own spirit guide. Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes sense. You are your own spirit guide. I just love Jesus and ask each spirit that tries to communicate with me if they are from Christ or acknowledge Christ. I think that's why I never felt fear when they communicate. Yeah, I've heard other people do that before as well. I don't know if any of you watch Kevin Moore's channel on YouTube. But I think he said something like that in one of his videos too, that he asks Christ to be present or something along those lines. Let's see. Which is easier for the payments? Either is fine with me. If you want to do PayPal, the link to that is in the description box. I think either way, you have to put in your credit card information. But yeah, also, if you're just interested in channeling, Kevin Moore has a very extensive documentary series where he interviews different channelers, people who are channeling all sorts of higher dimensional beings. And those are very interesting to watch. Yeah, Fatima, I agree with you that spirit guides don't tell you what you should do. Yeah, they can give you guidance. But I also think that some of our spirit guides might not even agree with each other about what our best path would be, which again just goes, if that's true, then it just points out again how important it is for us to make our own choices. Last week, one of the people in the live chat, and if you're here again this time, I can't remember the name of this person, but someone was saying that they understood life purpose to be sort of like, our only purpose is to exist. We're just here to have an experience, to experience life. So, and I agree with that. I think we should all make the most of our lives for whatever that means to us. It's not like we can really make a wrong choice. Exactly. Any choice. Okay. That was you. Yeah. Any choice that we make, it just leads us to an experience. So we can't necessarily make a wrong choice. That's my personal perspective on it. So does anyone want to share their own experiences with spirit guide communication? I've talked to myself quiet. My name is Gabby, but I'm really not very Gabby. I mean, occasionally it happens, but I've heard this joke more than once. Some clever person is like, you don't talk much for someone named Gabby. And then I smile politely. And in my head, I think, yeah, I've never heard that one before. Life is a profound miracle, and so I simply try to experience it and enjoy it. Miss M, I don't know either. Yeah, I'm curious about that. I do feel like certain things are kind of planned, but I don't know if it's planned by someone else or if it's like that we plan it when we're in the astral realm between incarnations. Maybe there's a little bit of both there too. I don't know. Ooh, Azrael. Oh my God. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of true of the angels that, I don't know if they're our guides in quite the same way because they're available to all of us. But there could be an angel that you just resonate more with their energy. I really appreciate Azrael's energy also because I just feel like Azrael can help us through traumatic experiences and I don't know, like those just kind of like harsher aspects of reality, like trauma and abuse and things like that. Every path you take will lead you to experience something. Yeah, that's kind of what I think, Fatima. So there's no reason to really get caught up in regrets. Metatron guided me to go against the norm, and I experienced that I beat out impossible odds. 2-year-long journey, got a job offer at a prestigious company just yesterday. Well, congratulations. Was it also you that was saying your birthday is today? No, that was Catastrophe. I don't know if Catastrophe is still here. Daylight, just look in the description box. There's a link to it. It's paypal.me/Empress Tarot by Gabby T, I think is what it is. Callie, you get mixed messages and imagine them debating. Okay, let me get to Rachel's reading here. I'm trying to figure out where my Clary Sage spray is. All right. Please connect me to Mother Earth and Father Sky for their respective wisdom, guidance, and support to bring forth a message for Rachel to give her the clarity and understanding that she needs. I call upon my own spirit guides, angels, and highest self, as well as those of Rachel and anyone else addressed in this reading. Help me to understand how to translate the information that is coming through. Help her to understand the information that is coming through. We're grateful to all of the divine support that is available here today. And Rachel asks, what is coming up next for me and my husband? Second question is, why am I seeing so many birds? Like, what is spirit trying to communicate to me through them? Okay. What is coming up next for Rachel and her husband? Well, we get the Knight of Cups. So there's romance. There are open, expressive feelings of kindness and love. But also followed by the Five of Wands. So there might be some sort of small argument or frustration coming up. Can we clarify that? Yeah, I think whatever this is, it's not a big deal because, again, we come back to the Two of Cups. But there is some sort of disagreement between the two of you, but it's kind of small potatoes. Why does she need to know about that? Your guides are just saying that you need to be reassured that whatever this small argument is, you like in your head, you might make it out to be more than it is. And it might make you afraid that, everything's going to unravel. They're just saying that's not going to happen. The relationship is not going to end just because you have a minor conflict, But sometimes with the Five of Wands, this can be like making mountains out of molehills, where it feels like the conflict is more significant than what it actually is. And your guides are just saying you need to be aware that when this happens, it's not the end of the relationship. It's not the dire circumstance that it might feel like to you. The disagreement might have something to do with other people or going to some sort of social event or family event. Maybe one of you wants to go and the other one thinks it's not a good idea. It could also be embarking on a new milestone in life. But there's some sort of a new milestone in your relationship. There's something that I feel like you want to do that he's not interested, or vice versa. But again, there's still stability here. Yeah, this is a strong relationship. Is there anything else that she needs to know other than that about what's coming up with her and her husband? There will be some unnecessary worries, which we've already addressed. And this, again, it's just telling you, one of the ways I like to describe the Nine of Swords is like, when you were a kid and you looked up and you thought you saw a monster, but then as your eyes adjusted and you had greater clarity, you're like, oh, that's just a jacket hanging off the back of a chair. It's not a monster. That was my mind playing tricks on me. That's what the Nine of Swords is like. You think that there's a monster, or you think that there's something really significant to be worried or feel about, but it's just in your mind. That's only real in your head. It's not real outside of your mind. So this is just a reminder, again, back to the Five of Wands, like don't make mountains out of molehills. So that's what I'm getting there. Now, if you have any more specific questions about that, yeah, Tower reversed. There's something coming up where you are really worried in a way that is unnecessary. Like with Tower reversed and Death reversed, you're afraid. I feel like you're going to be afraid that it's going to end things or something, but that is not the case. But I do feel like whatever this experience is, it is teaching the two of you to learn how to communicate better with each other, to communicate more openly and honestly. And so, see it as an opportunity to actually strengthen the relationship, which is already quite strong, but it will lead to you all being able to strengthen your communication with each other. Okay, I'll just ask, is there anything else she needs to know about that? And I get a no. Things are okay, just keep working on it. It's a relationship. You have to keep working on it. And so, just because more work comes up doesn't mean that the relationship will end. It's just the relationship continuing to be improved upon. All right, and the second is about the birds. Why is she seeing these birds? What should she know? I feel like switching over to the Everyday Witch Tarot. Why is she seeing these birds? What's the message? What is the message from these birds for Rachel? So we have the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Eight of Wands reversed, and then the Two of Pentacles. It feels like you're at a stall. Something is stalled and you don't want it to be stalled, but then you're also kind of afraid of it picking up speed again. This might be related to your work or career life, but something feels like it's slowed down in your life and you're not making any progress, and you want things to start moving more quickly, for there to be more opportunities or just more activity. And I think this might be related to money and or career, but it's almost like you're scared of things picking up speed as well. You don't want things to be slowed down, but you're also scared of things picking up speed. And the message is to kind of try to find the balance between those two. There will be moments when things are slowed down. There will be moments when things are sped up. And these birds are trying to give you this message of trying to find your balance, to not be thrown off by the fact that things are kind of like speeding up and then slowing down, speeding up and then slowing down. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles reversed. I do feel like it's some sort of concern with your money. You want to feel safe with your money, and you don't quite feel that maybe you're wanting to get to that point where you don't have to worry about money so much, but you're sort of also afraid of there being too much work or too much activity required in order to get to that place. I don't know if this is making sense. And then Five of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, I feel like you don't want to have to worry about money. You want to feel like your money is safe and secure, but you also don't want to have to worry about too much new stuff coming into your life. And then we have the Knight of Cups reversed. So this could relate as well to your relationship with your husband. So it might be about both things. Like maybe even in your relationship with your husband, sometimes things feel slowed down. Sometimes it feels like things are moving quickly, or there's a lot of change. And it's like you understand at some level the need for both, but on another level, it's a little bit overwhelming. It's like everything's moving quickly and then it stops. Everything's moving quickly and then it stops. And it's very disconcerting, and it's hard for you to get your balance. But I mean, they're just kind of telling you as well, like, you've got what it takes to handle this as the Queen of Wands. So just, have confidence in yourself that you can handle this stop and start type of energy. And I feel like, again, I mean, I think that your questions are bleeding into each other. I feel like they're saying with your husband, there may be moments when the two of you need to kind of like have a little bit of space from each other, and that's healing. So don't think of that as a detriment to the relationship, just because there may be moments where you kind of need a little bit of space to think things through a little bit better, to understand things a bit better, to figure out how to communicate yourself in the way that will be most understood by the other. Again, I was getting that message earlier that you're learning how to communicate with each other in a way that's healthier and better for the relationship. Let me get, since a lot of this was about relationship, let me get a message to you from this Affirmators deck. Compliments. I know how good it feels to get a compliment, so I give that gift to others. I'll find a nice compliment for everyone I interact with today, even if I have to think really hard about it, in which case I can follow up by complimenting myself for solving such a compliment puzzle. Wow, I'm skilled. I've actually never seen this card coming up in this deck. It has 2 cats on it, so I feel that I would have remembered this being a crazy cat lady, and I don't think I've ever seen it before. So maybe try to focus your communication on the positive. I don't know if you've ever heard the golden ratio. The golden ratio is that if you say something negative to someone or do something negative, which, we're human, it's going to happen. We'll get on each other's nerves sometimes, right? But if something negative, if there's a negative interaction, the golden ratio, in order to keep a relationship functioning effectively, is you have to follow that up with at least 5 positive interactions. So I feel like this could be kind of like a nod to that. Like, if there is some sort of argument coming up, it happens, but then you have to kind of balance that out with at least 5 positive interactions. At least. It could be more. But the experience of the negative interactions feel like they carry much more weight than positive interactions. And so you have to balance them out in that way. I hope that makes sense. Let me see if there's an oracle card here about your money, because I felt like money/career was coming up as well for you, Rachel. And then I'll move on to Daylight's question. Editor. Your writing or other creative project benefits from outside help and support. So I don't know if that's helpful to you or not, Rachel, but yeah, you might need to seek someone else's input. Maybe that's what you were afraid of with the 8 of Wands reverse. Like maybe you realize that you need someone else's eyes on whatever it is you're trying to accomplish in your work or career, but you're also afraid of what they might say. Like, you need some feedback from someone, but you're also sort of maybe scared of what that feedback might be. Writers group. Are you a writer? Create or join a writers group to gain inspiration, friendship, and support. If you do some sort of writing, there's definitely a strong message to seek out other people's thoughts about what it is you're writing. If it's not that you're a writer, then whatever it is you're doing in your career, it's just about seeking feedback from other people and maybe not being so scared of what their feedback will be. Ultimately, going back to what we were saying about spirit guides, if you let people look at what you're doing and they give you feedback, that doesn't mean that you have to agree with their feedback. Ultimately, you get to make those choices. All right. And then Daylight wants to know just, what do my spirit guides want me to know now? Okay. So in the payment, you also said, who are your spirit guides? So I'll try to figure that out as well. I have a deck for that somewhere, and I don't know where it is. I think I can just use tarot as well. For you, I'm going to be using this Golden Girls Tarot. And this was gifted to me by Tira. I don't know if she's here today, but. All right, so we're answering for daylight now. As before, I would like to call upon our spirit guides, angels, and high selves, Mother Earth and Father Sky, in support of this reading. Tell us, who is her guide? Yeah, it's a Golden Girls deck. It's pretty exciting. Who is her guide? We get the Nine of Swords reversed. So this guide, I'm not getting a specific name or anything, but this is a guide who has learned how to overcome their fears. When I talked about the Nine of Swords earlier, that it's sort of like when you think that there's something to be afraid of, but it's really just in your head. This is a guide that understands that because they've had to do that a lot in their own incarnations to overcome the fears, or like the mental loops of fear and anxiety. I feel like this is a male because we have the King of Cups. So this is more of a masculine energy spirit guide. Very loving. This spirit guide is very loving and benevolent. I feel like this is a guide who family is very important to this guide. So they might be here to help you with that aspect of your life. I'll ask that in a moment. And then we get the King of Wands. So definitely a masculine energy. We might even be getting two different guides coming through. These are masculine or male guides, maybe who want to teach you how to experience greater happiness, within your family life. Let's just ask this. For the King of Cups guide, what are they here to talk about? The Fool reversed. So there's something that you are meant to embark upon, some new journey, daylight, that you're meant to embark upon that you're not. And it could be because of some fear holding you back. So this guide is trying to help you overcome that fear of embarking on a new journey. It might be a new job or something new in your career or financial life, because we have the Page of Pentacles. You're not embracing something new, or you're afraid of something new that has started. Yeah, Four of Cups, like something is being offered to you, a new chance, a new start is available to you, but you're just like, I don't think I want this. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. I'm afraid of this. And part of that reason is because you're having to move on from something that felt right for you in order to move towards this new, fresh start in your life. Yeah. And part of it is because I think you're afraid of leaving behind your old life in some sense. I feel like part of what you're not ready for as well is like just really speaking your mind and speaking your truth openly. Maybe in the past, you've been more the person who tried to keep the peace, but that wasn't true to yourself. You weren't being true to yourself. So you have to leave that behind in order to be more true to yourself. It might trouble the waters a little bit, taking a fresh start. Maybe you're afraid Okay, sorry, I'm laying these on my laptop and I messed something up here. I hope I'm still connected to you all. Lesson. Yeah, so this guide is trying to help you with this new start and to understand that you will be successful. Yeah, you'll be successful with this new start. You just have to take that first step. It looks like it's something with a Page of Pentacles. I would say it's something with job, career, money. What is the new Ace of Swords upright? It's something to do with your job, career, or money. So maybe a new job, a new career path. Have you been considering something? Have you been considering something, doing something new with your career, but you're holding yourself back? Okay. Yeah. I mean, then your first step would be to choose something that you genuinely love, and or that you feel drawn to. Choose some of those topics that you feel drawn to and explore it. You know, what's there to be afraid of? I think partly you're afraid that people won't understand you, that people won't understand why you're called to this. You know, but you're here to live your life. You're not here to live someone else's life. So I do think that there was a second guide here as well, represented by the King of Wands. Why is this guide? Who is this guide? The Hierophant. This guide might also be wanting to help you to learn. So I think the first guide is helping you to overcome your fears so that you can take those first steps. The other guide actually wants to help you with the actual learning process, learning these metaphysical concepts. So this guide wants to help you find the information that would be most helpful to you and to help you understand it. This is a guide that really sees you as an equal as well. So a lot of times with the Hierophant, it's more like someone who I am the person who has the knowledge and I will bestow that to you. But this is a guide that sees you as their teacher just as much as they are here to teach you. It's an equal exchange of energy. They feel that you are their equal, but they want to help you in your journey of understanding these metaphysical concepts. Yeah, this guide is working collectively with other guides, collaboratively to help you with this journey. And this guide is really excited too for you to get to the next milestone. Yeah, but Rachel, don't let it be a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you haven't had an argument yet, don't let yourself become anxious about that happening. But if it does happen, then, remind yourself that it's not the end of the relationship, and it's certainly not the world. How can you talk to them more? Do you use tarot or anything like that? One of the things you could do is, you could ask a particular question or just ask for insights and go into meditation. Okay. Well, that makes sense, Rachel. Okay. just as a final message about that, Rachel, your guides are saying, do not be afraid of having multiple options. That, you know, you're not wrong for giving yourself multiple options. You know, so there's no reason to be scared about your boss's reaction. Whatever their perception of it is, your guides are saying that you're not wrong. There's nothing wrong. You're not going to shoot yourself in the foot by allowing yourself to have multiple options. Yeah, but Daylight, in terms of how to communicate with your guides more, okay, like you can go into meditation, just quiet your mind and see if there's anything that comes up. A lot of people like to do writing as well, automatic writing. You could try that out. I haven't done that much recently, but back in the day, I did some automatic writing with Archangel Michael. Again, you just kind of like relax your mind. You just kind of let yourself write and just see what comes out. Also, of course, you can use tarot and oracle cards. You're welcome, Rachel. I'm glad that it made sense. All right. So Daylight, I hope that that made sense for you as well. So yeah, take that first step. Choose, I would say, just choose a topic, metaphysical topic that you're interested in. Find yourself a book or a couple of books on that, or some websites, and just explore it. There's nothing to be scared of. If you find that, oh, I thought I was interested in this topic and now not really, that's fine. There are so many metaphysical topics that you can explore. So you don't have to get, there's nothing to be scared of. It's like if you're at a buffet and you want to try a food and you decide, well, I didn't like that food. It's okay. There's a whole buffet full of other foods. Definitely a metaphor right now. This is not the time to be eating at a buffet. It's a good way for germs to spread, eating at a buffet. I need to figure out what exactly I'm meant to do. I always feel lost on what is meant for me. I can relate to that. And honestly, I feel like I don't know that you're going to get that insight in a reading exactly. 7 months Prego buffet sounds good. Yeah, it does sound good, but not a good idea. I enjoy a buffet as well, but this is not the time. I don't think many buffets would be open now anyway. I'm sure there are some places, but. So this is a fortune cookie message just to wrap up your reading. Oh, so Daylight, it says, be patient. The Great Wall didn't get built in one day. And the learn Chinese word on the back is hello. So your spirit guides, again, they just want to confirm that they are present and that they are with you. They're actively trying to help you with all of this, but also be patient with the process. Be patient. The Great Wall didn't get built in one day. So whatever it is you're trying to learn, whatever you're trying to understand about what your purpose is, what to do with your life, you know, don't get so stressed out about the fact that you don't have it all figured out right now. So that was I like that message. All right. Aw, thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Speak Through Names says, I struggled with that too until I realized my passion, career, and vocation are 3 different things. I have my 9 to 5, my creative project, and I volunteer my professional skills at a nonprofit. That's great. I feel like for me, I have Mercury on the midheaven, and I think I'm similar in that I need to kind of like have different things going on. I think I'm best when I'm not just doing one thing. So I can relate to that as well. I need variety. Yes. And it's kind of like, I feel like it helps with burnout as well. But that's one thing. Of course, life purpose is more than career as well. Like being a good friend can be a life purpose. Being a good brother, sister, family member, etc. Anything like that can be a life purpose just as much as anything else. Learning metaphysical topics, even if you don't do anything with it professionally, can still be a life purpose too. I want to help people, but it never pays the bills. Yeah. Yeah, it can be hard sometimes to find something that's fulfilling and that also pays the bills. It's something that I've struggled with throughout my life as well. I feel very blessed that I can pay my bills now doing something that I enjoy, but it took me a long time to get there. All right, so I'm going to be giving away a free fortune cookie reading for anyone who wants to participate. Pick a number between 1 through 100, and I've got a number on the back of this. So I'll give people a moment. You'll get a free fortune cookie reading. I'll pull you a fortune cookie, and then if I need to clarify, it pays your soul's bills. Oh my gosh, that is such an excellent point, Kimmo. Yeah. For your soul to be satisfied is much more important than for your bank account to be satisfied. To be rich but soulless, I don't envy that. Not at all. I'm not a Christian, although I do have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, as I talked about a lot today. But certain Bible verses that still stand out to me from the time when I was. One of my mom's favorite Bible verses was this, and I may not be quoting this exactly, but it was, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get to heaven. Just saying, there's something about wealth or any type of success that really does make it a bit harder for you to be connected to your soul and to your goodness, really. Okay, I'll give you a moment. Whose birthday was it? I think that was Catastrophe. I don't know if Catastrophe's still here, but if our birthday person is still here, I can pull one for you as well. That's nice, Rachel. I would say so too. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes when we're very successful financially, yeah, it does get us sidetracked. I've experienced that even with this channel. I've never experienced such a level of public success, and it has been difficult for me and my ego to overcome. It's embarrassing to admit, but it's true. Okay, so I think I've got everybody's. The number is 12, so that's speak 3 names. I feel like you've won this before. You're really tapping into those psychic abilities. So the number is 12. So if you have a question to ask, speak 3 names, then you can ask that, or I can just do a general. Didn't you win this before? I feel like you did. Maybe I'm making that up. I'm going to wait to see if you have a question. This is what I should be drinking. This is what I am also drinking. You won last week. You're funny. You must be psychic, or you're just lucky. Maybe both. You did say you were a Sagittarius, right? So we tend to be lucky. Hard to see it sometimes. I'm like, am I really lucky? Oh, you can. I don't know where she's at, though. I would like to give her one anyway, if she's still here. It looks like she might be gone. So general reading for Speak Three Names. Courage is rightly considered the foremost of the virtues, for upon it all others depend. And the learned Chinese word on the back is chopstick, so I'm not really sure what to make of that in terms of an oracle meaning. But courage is rightly considered the foremost of the virtues, for upon it all others depend. That makes sense. I mean, sometimes it takes courage to love, courage just to love. Let's see if there's any further insights. Aw, thank you. You won a tarot oracle deck? No, I've never done any giveaways like that. Yeah, take practice if you didn't grow up with it. Well, I guess it takes practice if you grew up with it too, but okay. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles. There's some sort of view in terms of like building long-term longevity, long-term stability. I feel like it's the courage to believe that you can have the life that you seek. Which I can relate to not having that courage. Sometimes I lack that courage myself. Yeah, you all are good. You're helping me interpret the 2 of Wands. Yeah, I feel like there's just kind of like having the courage to really believe in yourself. Whatever the life is that you're trying to create for yourself, it's just telling you to have courage and believe in yourself that you can achieve this. I feel like you're better at believing in other people than you are in believing in yourself. How did I learn to shuffle so well? I don't even know that I am a good shuffler, but I did grow up playing a lot of card games with my family. Various forms of rummy. In Kentucky, where I'm from, there's a really popular card game called Rook. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Rook. There's a specific deck. It's similar to, I think it's kind of similar to Spades, but it has its own specific deck. Kentucky Rook. We just call it Rook because we were in Kentucky, but I think some people call it Kentucky Rook. But yeah, I played a lot of card games growing up. I don't think of myself as a particularly great shuffler, though. But I'll accept your compliment. Sometimes I see other readers shuffling and I'm amazed. There was this one, and I don't remember because I've watched so many different people, but she was like, it reminded me of that Missy Elliott song, Flip It Around, Reverse It. I don't know. But she was doing crazy things with her shuffling. And then a lot of people, they shuffle and they specifically get cards that pop out. That doesn't happen to me when I shuffle. It's very rare. But yeah, I guess I'm just, maybe because I played card games growing up, I learned to shuffle keeping the cards in my hands. But maybe if someone learned to shuffle specifically because of oracle decks, they would have learned this way of shuffling where they get flyouts. I just don't have that happen very much. Oh, Harlan County. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Have you seen the documentary Harlan County, USA? I think is what it's called. One of my favorite documentaries. Yeah, poor Eastern Kentuckians. Yeah, that's great, Rachel. Not just Kentucky, but specifically she's from Eastern Kentucky, which is also where I'm from. You know, if you tell people about Eastern Kentucky and they don't know what you're talking about, they're like, why does it matter that it's Eastern Kentucky and not some other part of Kentucky? But Eastern Kentucky is a very special place. It's very, it's very rural. It's, people are poor, but I feel like culturally we're very rich because people take care of each other. So even though, we're kind of all poor, everybody in Eastern Kentucky is poor, and we just take care of each other. So I'm very proud of where I'm from. I feel very connected to my roots. All right. Yeah, fear, it's something that all of us experience. That's just the ego. It's just part of that experience of being alive as a human. My grandfather owned $1 million insurance company until my uncle made it go bankrupt from gambling debt. Okay. Well, your family might have been some of the few rich people in Eastern Kentucky. Is it humid in Kentucky right now? I don't know. I guess. It's definitely summer weather. It's hot outside. We've had a lot of rain. I guess I'm not getting outside all that much. Is it humid? I don't know. I'm having a good hair day today, so it's probably not too humid today. But in general, lately we've had a lot of rain, which is good for, people's plants and things. I have a few plants out that are doing pretty well. I have a couple of tomato plants and some mint plants. My mint plants I'm most proud of. They have grown so much. My tomato plants have grown so much too, and they've started to develop green tomatoes. So that will be exciting. I'll be able to harvest some fairly soon. Well, I think we have come to the end of our time together. So I appreciated talking to all of you, and I hope that you all enjoyed this. If you have any ideas for topics about what we could talk about in these live chats, let me know. You can comment here real quick before we go, or on my community post, or just in the comments of the video, because the video will still be up after this, about any specific topics you wanted to discuss in the live chat. This was back in the day in the 60s, but the community came together and helped out my family. Yeah, that's just how people are in Eastern Kentucky. It really is very community oriented, which I like. But also, I didn't like growing up in a place where everybody knew everybody's business. I didn't like that aspect of it. But yeah, I feel like people really have each other's back. It's very true. Fried green tomatoes. Oh my gosh, yes. Now, the tomatoes plants that I got a Roma tomato plant, and then I thought that the other one I was getting was a beefsteak, which I could have made fried green tomatoes out of. But it was a cherry tomato plant. I don't know if I picked up the wrong one or what, but I wanted to get one that was a big beefsteak tomato. And instead, I ended up with 2 small tomatoes. But I can always go to a farmer's market or something and get a green tomato to fry. Fried green tomatoes are very delicious. Thank you so much, Rachel. You're always so kind. The Akashic Records. I will think about it. I don't know if I really know that much about it myself, but if you all have information to bring to the table, I know a little bit about Edgar Cayce, and he's kind of the psychic who made the Akashic Records more well-known, I feel like. Oh, okay. How to talk about these topics with people who don't believe in it, especially family. So to talk about it with skeptics. Yeah, my understanding of the Akashic Records is just that it's kind of like the place where all knowledge and all experiences can be accessed. So everything that has been, everything that is, and everything that will be can be accessed within the Akashic records. So it's kind of like a cosmic library of all thought, all ideas, and all experiences. Wow, memories of Atlantis. I don't, but I did. I was told years ago by a psychic that I had been a high priestess in Atlantis, which I like to believe is true. She is a strong psychic. This was a former mentor of mine. I met her actually when I went to a channeling she did of the Archangel Gabriel. And there was some information for me that came through Gabriel that this woman who had never met me would not have any way of knowing. So that was very interesting. Your tarot deck told you that you were a high priestess in Atlantis. Maybe we were both high priestesses there. I received a past life image for someone else once, not about Atlantis, but about Lemuria. And this woman, she had a past life as kind of like a warrior princess in Lemuria. And in that lifetime, she had wanted to be more of a high priestess type energy, but she was a warrior. But that's not really the role that she wanted to fulfill in that lifetime. But she was there when Lemuria ended, and I saw her just very calmly experiencing the end of Lemuria. Like she was just calmly accepting the end of it all. It was a very interesting vision to have of someone's past life. Well, it may be that you've been in all of those places. You know, I think a lot of us who have, a lot of us probably have been in Atlantis and Mu and Lemuria and these different places, ancient Egypt, different civilizations where people were more spiritually advanced. I think a lot of us, our souls have experienced that in multiple lifetimes. Wow. Yeah, who knows? It's interesting, though. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I've got some personal readings to do to get caught up with that. My sale is still going on until the 11th, so that's 2 more days. If you want to get a video reading from me, you can find the details about that in the description box below. But I enjoyed this conversation. Oh, I have no idea, Miss M, but we're definitely in an ascension process, that is for sure. And I feel like, a lot of these types of experiences, people are starting to become more prepared for them. Even like extraterrestrial beings, I feel like people are opening up to it more. When I was a kid, it was laughable, the idea that aliens were real. And I feel like nowadays, more and more people really believe that extraterrestrials do exist. So I feel like kind of collectively our consciousness is expanding. And as our awareness expands, we will become more prepared to accept these things that seemed ludicrous or unbelievable before. Thank you, everybody. All right. Well, I'll see you guys next Thursday.